Hello everyone, welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link tree down below. Please go down there. It has the links to all of my social media. Please go down there. Follow me across my social media platforms. Talk to me. I'll talk back. Also, if you go down there as well, but my YouTube pages as well, there's links to all of those as well. Please go down there. Subscribe to all my YouTube pages. Turn on your notifications when I post content. You folks will be in the know. I will also be live streaming Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be live streaming. We'll be talking about the Jets. We'll be talking about free agency, talking about the Jets defense. We'll be talking about it all. So please call in. I take live callers. I love going back and forth with folks about this football team. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about the New York Jets situation at tight end. Listen, you look at this tight end situation, and there's a lot of questions, man, to be completely honest. And I think that this is yet another position on this offense that I think could really utilize an upgrade. I mean, it really does, okay? Especially when you look at the situation that we have with our new offensive coordinator and some of the things that, you know, they were doing in San Francisco offensively, and we'll get to that in a second. I want to talk about the guys we currently have on the roster, though. I'm going to start with our tight end, Chris Herndon. Listen, I've been attacked by the Herndon Hive. I've been attacked. I've been attacked. I've been attacked constantly. Chris Herndon is terrible. It's completely terrible. I'm not even going to lie to you. First year, he showed some flashes. There was definitely some things that we saw where we were like, whoa, this guy, you know, that we got in the draft, he might be able to put some things together. But then we saw injuries. And then after that, there were suspensions. And then the injuries, you know, kept going, lingering here and there. And then when he was given the football, there was a lot of drops. And then when it wasn't drops, there was fumbles. And then we understand that he was utilizing Adam Gaze's scheme. You know, Adam Gaze is just, his offenses are terrible. When Chris Herndon was given chances to catch the football and really put things together, we often saw bad results. Again, fumbles that really costed us in games, you know, that led to us losing games sometimes, and drops, critical drops at times. He was utilized quite a bit as a blocker, quite a lot actually. But when he was given a chance, he just didn't put things together. So that's why I'm not as high on Chris Herndon as others are. I know there's a lot of people that are still saying this is the year for Chris Herndon, but I felt like we said that year 2, we've said that year 3, and now it's year 4, and we're like, okay, when is it year? So I just cannot see us, you know, banking everything on Chris Herndon finally turning things around in a new scheme. And I think that we do need to look to upgrade this position if we can, whether it be free agency or the draft. And we'll get to those names that I really think could really help us there. Griffin is another tight end that we have here, and I like Griffin. He's a guy that's really put things together. Honestly, he's been better as a tight end than Chris Herndon since he's gotten here. We saw some good things out of him, but the thing is that Griffin is an older guy. He's been here, and the Jets could look to move on from him, because if you cut him, you could save a little bit on the cap that would really help you continue to push and propel this position forward. So I could see the Jets moving on from him and, you know, letting him go just to save a little bit of cash so they can find another guy to fill the spot. You look at Wesco as well. Wesco's a tight end, a guy that, you know, Matt drafted, that I remember when he was drafted, people were calling him Baby Gronk and stuff like that. He's been a guy that's been decent, you know, as a blocker here and there, a guy that's decent, you know, in special team stuff like that, but he's, you know, not a receiving threat. He's a tight end you could throw out there on the goal line and run different packages with, but he's not a star, you know what I'm saying? But he's a decent guy. Brown as well, Daniel Brown, we all know he's going into free agency, so who knows what the Jets would do with him. Again, he's a guy, you know, not a receiving threat or, you know, a crazy tight end. He's a guy that can do some things on special teams and a guy you bring in certain packages. So when I look at this situation, you look at, again, we brought in Mike LaFleur. The things they were doing there in San Francisco, they had Kittle out there, and that tight end position was absolutely utilized within this offense. They found any and every way to get Kittle the football. He was also a blocker as well. A lot of people don't talk about Kittle as a blocker. That guy's a pretty damn good blocker too. So some of the things that I saw from San Francisco, some of the ways they utilize the tight end position within their offense, I say, man, that could be really good, but we don't have a Kittle here. I think that's the biggest issue with us. And again, I think that Mike is going to come here and he's going to bring a lot of that Kyle Shanahan stuff that we saw, or a lot of that Shanahan system stuff that we saw in San Francisco, I truly believe is going to be utilized here. So you look at this situation and I say, I'm looking to free agency. I need to see who's out there. Can there be somebody that we can bring in that could really upgrade this position? And so the list of names of guys that I got, Kyle Rudolph is a guy that just got released. I think he can come in here and do some things. He is an older guy, but we saw, he had success with the Vikings. He was able to put some things together. Bringing him in for a decent deal I don't think it would kill us whatsoever. He's a big body guy that can put things together. So I think the Jets could look, and possibly be interested in him. Jared Cook is also a guy I think the Jets could be interested in. Here's a guy that was with the Saints that was, one of the guys that honestly was a receiving threat there for a little bit. Drew Brees would find him. He'd be able to move. He really put some things together when he got there. Gerald Everett. Woo! Let me tell you something. I am big on Gerald Everett. I really like him. I really think he's a tight end that can come here and, really do some things offensively for us and be utilized within this offense. Listen, Gerald, when he was a focus with that Rams offense, when they were throwing him the football and utilizing him within the offense, man, this guy was pretty solid. He's got a solid pair of hands. He's a big body guy. He can catch the football and he can go. He's a guy that can run too. He's a tough runner too. Kind of a tough guy to bring down as well. Now, going forward, regardless of what we do at the quarterback position, whether we stick with Sam, we draft a guy, or we trade for whatever's going to happen, giving a guy a big body, a target like Everett in the red zone, that would be huge. A guy that you can just say, hey, throw it up, you just go get it. Everett is that guy, and I think Everett will be able to put on there. Another name, of a tight end on my list that I think the Jets should be interested in is Jonnu Smith. Listen, Jonnu Smith out there with Tennessee, that was a run-first offense. I mean, they are brutal in the running game. Derrick Henry, all those boys out there, they do not play, okay? They will run the ball down your throat, no issues. Jonnu was able to go out there and put on as well. He showed that he can catch the football, that he's a decent blocker as well. And I think that he's also going to be a guy that's going to be a little bit more on the expensive side. He's going to cash in. I know that there's quite a bit of teams that look at him and say, hey, he's one of the top tight ends this year coming out in free agency. So we may have to spend a little bit more for him than we would some of these other guys. But if the Jets, want to upgrade the position, hey, you got to pay to play. Now, again, I don't want us to spend too much. I don't want us to get too crazy, but he's a guy that I would be interested in. Mo Alley-Cox as well is another guy I'm interested in too. He's a guy that was pretty solid with the Colts. Again, he's a big guy. He can catch the football. We saw that he has really solid hands. So he's a guy that should definitely be on the list. And I know some people talk about Hunter Henry. I don't know if he's going to get tagged or what's going to happen with him. But I'll tell you what, going forward, Hunter is definitely a guy that we should be interested in, but I think he's going to be extremely expensive. Jonnu, I think, is probably going to be the number 2 tight end coming out, if free agency holds the way it is. And Hunter is probably going to be the number 1, and I think teams are just absolutely going to spend on him because he's really going to cash in. I'm just going to put it like that. So I like Hunter, but I just don't think we'll be able to afford him unless the Jets really want to, spend quite a bit on this position. So when you look at this situation, I say, okay, free agency, I like Gerald Everett. There's some other guys that I think the Jets should be interested in, but if they don't go that way, what else could they do when they look at the draft? And again, as the draft, comes closer, we'll be talking about it. But you look at the draft and you got to say to yourself, Kyle Pitts, that guy's something else. That guy's something else, right? I'm just saying, that guy is something else, all right? Coming out of Florida. I look at this situation and I say to myself, there are some people that talk about taking Pitts at 2. I would not do that, okay? I would not do that. Even though I love that kid, I would not do that, okay? Now, if we trade down, somewhere a couple, quite a bit down, a couple slots down, he might be in the talks. But Pitts could be, again, if we trade down in those slots, I've heard people talking about the Jets possibly trading down to 8, 9, 10, something like that. He could be there. I could see us taking him there. But it's tough, man. It's really tough. When you talk about taking Pitts at 2, I think that's a tough call there. But I like that kid as well, and I could see the Jets, finding a way if they trade down, they could end up with him. So please comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. So what are your thoughts about this tight end position? How do you feel about this situation? There's quite a bit of ways to go. What are your thoughts about some of the free agents we could look at? What are your thoughts about Pitts? Because again, I know some people just consider him a tight end. I know other analysts as well talk about him just honestly being a big wide receiver. That's something that he could do here. So please comment down below and folks think. Have a good one, folks. Peace.